rise and shine, and don't forget your booties, cause it's cold out there today.
It's cold out there every day. What is this, Miami Beach?
It is still cold out there. And welcome back. This is round 3 of the Winter Derby. I'll be playing Anders. And Anders is out of Denmark, Anders Schmidt. So let's take a look at his deck real quick. So I didn't get a chance to get a deck photo from Anders, but here's the gist of what his deck does. It starts off with some style. Dude gets fucking extra cool points with War Elephant, War Mammoth, and Elephant Graveyard. He takes 2, we'll call them relatively inefficient creatures, right? They don't see a ton of play in old school. That's the War Elephant and War Mammoth. And then he makes them kind of a pain in the ass with Elephant Graveyard. He does this. He has this deck on a Twiddle Vault chassis, which I love. Twiddle Vault is a handful to deal with, but his win condition is just fantastic. On the right, I have him loaded up with dual lands because he's playing pretty well all the colors, or he is playing all the colors. And on the left, we need the power to make this operation work. So check out Anders Schmidt, AS Altars. He does the coolest altars, I think, for old school. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I'd be beholden that he does the best altars. They are sick, super cool, and there's plenty of good ones out there. So let's move on to my deck. Here's a look at my Flux Geddon deck. Energy Flux Armageddon. Right, people play out a fair amount of artifacts in old school Magic. I hear there's some powerful ones out there. So Armageddon wipes the board. Energy Flux ideally wipes out the artifacts. It is packed full of creatures. And then to deal with the Twiddle Vault aspect of it, I'm going to take a look at my sideboard. 3 Divine Offerings, an extra Disenchant, the 4th Disenchant. And really, the Tormont's Crypts are also disruptors. Especially in Twiddle Vault, he needs those Twiddles back, or any Twiddle Vault player needs the Twiddles to continually show up, to go off, so they have to cycle them back in through Recall, or through a Time Twister. And that 0 casting cost artifact can make their powerful cards just disappear from the game. So that's probably what's going to be running through my head when we go to sideboard. Let's get off to the games. And here we are with game number 1. Round 3 of Old School Winter Derby. I'm on the Time Walk playmat. Anders is on the Disenchant playmat. I start with very strong. Love that start. Tundra, Ancestral Recall. So I popped the Recall off on his upkeep because I know I have very few Moxen in the deck. And wow, he answers back immediately with a Loa. And he's drawing in my upkeep. So I'm still up a couple cards, but that low is going to be, well, it's a problem for anyone. As an old school player, what you hate to see is a low at turn 1 without your Strip Mine staring back at it. I Time Walk, so that helps. I tap 3 and drop a Dib. Looks like I'm wanting to apply as much pressure as quickly as possible. And maybe to drop them off the library plan. But it's tough dealing with the library if you don't You don't have a way of removing it. It's not an automatic win, but it gets them very, very far ahead. Okay, he's ramping. He drops a Mox Ruby. Drawing with his Loa again, so I believe that's the second card he's picked up. Ruby into a Soul Ring. So turn 2, you can now produce up to 5 mana. And he passes. I take my point from the dib, draw my card and send him in for 3. Anders goes to 17. And I played Birds of Paradise. There's my revised Birds of Paradise that I've owned for the last 25 years, the same playset. They're pretty beat up. They've seen a lot of action, followed by 20 years of being shoved in attics and basements, and now back to the tabletop again. So I passed my opponent. He drops out another land. And here comes a Time Vault. So Time Vault deck is very mana hungry. He does not have a Twiddle to pair with it. He passes to me. Time Vault makes me wince so bad because sometimes it just hits play, and then you have to stop playing Magic, and you watch your opponent play a lot of Magic for a long period of time, then you just lose the game. So I do have an answer for Time Vault. Disenchant, thank goodness. And I am down to 14 with my dib in, so I think he accidentally dropped an extra card off his library. He's tapping 4. And here we go. A War Mammoth hits the table. Oh, almost hits the table. I tap my birds and my Tundra for a mana drain. Wow. I don't think I've had the pleasure of mana draining a War Elephant before. I could be wrong. Played against just a few of them in the past. But it's rare to see them. So I love it. That does leave 4 extra mana for my pool, though. Looks like I'm peeling off 3 of the colorless. And here we go, Armageddon. Let's wipe the board. And he says no. He cracks back with the mana drain of his own. I'm going to use my last 4 available and play another Earn out. And I swing in for 1. So I probably went the little bit greedier route, right? I wanted to see the Earn hit the table and be able to deal 7 a turn. I could have played the Earn first, see if he countered it, and then threw the Geddon. But he does have more artifact mana. But on the flip side, that Loa is paying dividends for him right now. Let's see, he's on turn 5. I'm pretty sure he's drawn 5 extra cards with it, maybe 4. Uh-oh, here's a problem. So I'm ahead, representing a lot of damage on board. He plays a Never Narrows Disc, followed by a Twiddle. Oh, brutal. And he pops it. So he only loses a Soul Ring and a Ruby. I lose all 3 of my creatures. I mean, I had him down to a 2-turn clock here. So I have a Mox, a new Birds of Paradise, and a new Dib. Okay, so I was holding back, all right. I'm down to 2 cards in hand. He's still got a grip of them, though. Wow. That board wipe put me behind. He's on 8, though. I mean, he's got to have an answer for the Dib. Plays a City of Brass. Tapping some mana. And another War Mammoth. Oh, wow. Another Twiddle. He taps down my Dib. So, I mean, that's an answer. I don't know how many times he can play Twiddle, but, you know, I lose a point of damage every upkeep from that Dib. When he stays tapped, he's working against me. Twiddle's such an awesome utilitarian card. He would have taken, what, 7 extra damage had he not been able to twiddle out his disc. It goes from Never Nail's Disc to being a pretty good card, right? Good board wiper, but it has to sit out there for so long. You see a lot of white in these decks to immediate awesomeness. Throw down the twiddle. I do play out an Earnum and pass to him. I'm down to 1 card in hand, so... Oh boy, and he's got another answer. Elephant Graveyard. Just takes that War Mammoth and makes it, you know, kind of unstoppable. Next turn it'll have Forest Walk. Because my Earnum. Which can be a problem. And here we go. War Elephant. So he's got one of all 3 style point cards in play. He's got the War Elephant, the War Mammoth, and the Elephant Graveyard. So how cool is that to see in this old school tournament? I think we have 195 players. And Anders is on a very serious elephant deck. I like it. So I tap 6 for a Brain Geyser. I'm going to refill my hand, draw 4 cards. I send him my Dib. Try and stab him for 3. That puts him on 8. I have 4 cards in hand. He's still running with a whole grip of cards. I'm at 15. He's on 8. But he does have... He's got blockers that can regenerate to take care of my Earnum. And he can sneak in every turn for, you know, at least a couple damage. And here we go. More War Mammoth. What's scarier than 1 War Mammoth? 2 War Mammoth. Okay, he's banding up. I respond in Swords to Plowshare. His War Elephant. It gives him 2 life. I shake around my Earnum a little bit. So Anders is back up to 10. And he passes. I send my Dib in for another 3. He moves down to 7. I'm still on 14. He's tapping things. Ooh, Time Twister. I'm just picking everything up, so let's shuffle up some cards. 7 fresh cards for both of us. So, I think my Library of Alexandria is kind of a diva, always showing up late to the party. I think that's because I overpaid for her, but that being said, the Time Twister activates my Loa for the very first time, and it puts him back on a Loa plan. So I guess we're both getting 8 new cards. He drops off a Lotus and a Sapphire. He's throwing cardboard sideways, and he's got a Fireball. Okay. Looks like he's fireballing for 4. I draw my Ancestral, and he takes care of my Dib. But really, the flying creature's his threat. The Urnum's letting his War Mammoth come in with Forest Walk. At least one of them. And he passes. Okay. So maybe he wants to be able to kill my Urnum outright if I attack. I throw down a Sapphire of my own. Play a Chaos Orb. Oh yes. Nothing better than cardboard flipping through the air to destroy any permanent you want. Oh, wow. Okay, another big threat hits the board. I tap 5 for Sarah Angel. Atlanta War Elf. Okay, I'm unloading. Back to 7, drawing to 8. Wow. Look at all these cards I'm going through. And a Soul Ring. Okay. So I pass with 6. I am tapped out. Minus the Soul Ring. The Llanowar Elf has Summoning Sickness. So really my only protection right now is a Chaos Orb. Anders' Brain Geyser. Looks like he's going to Geyser for an additional 3 cards. So wow, both of our decks are just chewing through cards. I'm now back to having more threats, but he does have one War Mammoth that's unaffected by Summoning Sickness. Still drawing with that Loa. He's drawing a ton of cards with that thing. And a Time Walk. Wow. So, I mean, we're to the point in the game that we're both playing a ridiculous amount of very powerful cards every turn. And he is just, I mean, I should have played a Millstone deck at this point in the game. Outside of that Time Twister, I think we could have got him with a Millstone. He is digging through cards. Got a Factory on board. Tapping 4 for another disc. Okay. He is down to 7. I have a lot of threats. And look at this. He's twiddling the disc. Wow. I activate my Chaos Orb in response. And he says, no thank you with a disenchant. Wow. 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 Chaos Orb flip canceled. Don't worry about that. He removes the board. All the work we've done for the last 2 turns is gone. He regenerates his War Mammoth. And now, I mean, he's back in possession of the lead here. We both have Loas, but he's got a Factory and a War Mammoth. So, although I have a few more life points, that doesn't look too pretty here. I'm going to be trampled to death by elephants. Oh, wow, look at this. Okay. I have an answer. She comes in the form of a 4/4 flyer swinging a sword. That's Sarah Angel. Okay, he plays down another factory. And a Chaos Orb of his own, oh my gosh. He's got an answer for everything. Looks like he's tapping his Loa to activate. And here comes our Orb Flip. Oh, it's a hit. Sarah Angel down, so Anders is on it. His deck is just cruising. Really, we both only have lands in play. Those discs are just messing my game plan up. And I think Anders is on par with his game plan. He swings in, pumps his factory, so he comes in for 6 and puts me down to 8. He's on 6. This is a very close game. I need answers, and I need them now. So my library's still doing work. Oh my gosh! Thank goodness, Sarah Angel to the rescue again. A little terrified here because I didn't have a disenchant for the orb. I definitely didn't have a counter spell because I would have used it. I feel like I'm kind of on thin ice. Let's see if he has another answer to my 4/4 flyer. Twiddle? That's an answer to my 4/4 flyer, and it's a really good one. Wow. Okay. He's activating both factories. I disenchant one. Oh my goodness. I'm going to take 5. I'm down to 3. I'm sure if I wasn't sweating and scared before, I'm headed there right now. This is not looking good. He can come in next turn. I can only block 1. I have to block his mammoth and take from the factory. And he only has to do that twice, right? He's on 6. I can deal 4. Send my Sarah Angel in. No blockers. He goes down to 2. Okay, 2 to 3 life. Armageddon! Look at this, Armageddon! Is my deck going to get one off? I tap for Mana Drain. Wow. I draw with my Loa for an answer. Oh, this is brutal. Tapping 4 again. I'm going to go down to 2 and another Armageddon. Oh my goodness. Does he have it? Does he have another one? Even a blue source and a twiddle, he can win the game. Oh no. He does not. Armageddon resolves. And let's see what he has. Wow. So we end the game. I'd hate to guess what turn we were on. 30? I don't know if it actually was, but we were deep into that game. And we both finished the game with 1 permanent on board. His War Mammoth, my Sarah Angel. So Flux Geddon takes game number 1. Let's take a look at game number 2. And here's game number 2. Anders is on the play. And he actually started with a mulligan. So I'm going to be a card up. And then I'll get to draw. Oh, Anders leading off with a Lotus and a Time Twister. think that was him putting his mulligan card back. But doesn't matter. No way to stop a time twister. We get to shuffle and try again. He gets to restock to a full hand. I shuffle my 7 in and draw 7 new ones. And he leads with a Maze of Ith. So, kind of an interesting lead. I City of Brass into an Ancestral. And I should be dropping 219. There we go. He plays out a Tropical and passes to me. I match his Tropical with my own. And I discard a Dib. Okay. And a Savannah. I can see the Dib because, you know, that Maze of Ith kind of makes my own Dib deadly. Oh my goodness. Okay. So he's got a second Maze of Ith. That is kind of a problem for me. You know, once he gets those elephants on board, and that's what I was going to say next, once he finds a way to regenerate them, they can just start sneaking in. So he's got his elephant graveyard down. He plays a time walk. He's playing some pretty good Magic cards there. I'm going to tap forward, take a point, and slap down and earn them. Okay. He's got 2 ways to deal with that earn them right now. Plays a Ruby. And look at this, a regrowth. Okay. Wow, he regrowths his Time Twister. And, you know, I've said it before, Twiddle Vault wants to eat through a lot of cards. So, he knows how to pilot this deck. I send him my Earn 'em. He says no thank you, taps his Maze. And I power out a Sarah Angel. Okay, so I'm down to 17 through tapping that City of Brass 3 times. He has answers for both of my creatures right now. And we're going to shuffle them up again. So, here we go. And here we are peeling off another 7 new cards from that Time Twister. Wow, Andres is his deck is doing an awesome job of filtering through and finding what he needs. Uh-oh, I'm tapping 4. He's tapped out. Oh my goodness, Armageddon. Wow, it's been so powerful. Oh man, he's left with a Ruby. I have 2 4/4 creatures. He's down to 12. Not good for him. Oh man, even worse, I have a Strip Mine. Tropical, Soul Ring. He's doing a little ramp. I mean, he needs to take care of both these creatures quickly. City of Brass for me. Crack in for 8 with oh no. Crack in for 8 with my creatures, and I disenchant his Soul Ring. I'm taking down his ability to ramp. He's on 4 life. One last card to draw. And he didn't get it. Wow. Spectacular games. Flux Geddon wins 2-0. That first game was so close. Alright. Thanks everyone for watching and have a good night.